My name is Cosmo Scharf, and I am the founder and organizer of VRLA, along with a few other great gentlemen over there, John Root and Johnny Ross, and where's Jeroen? Somewhere over there. Okay, hi. So, thank you all so much for coming. It's incredibly exciting to see all of you here tonight on this Monday evening. First of all, this is our social media bullshit. We're on Twitter, VR at VR Los Angeles, and we're on Facebook at Virtual Reality LA. We also have a beautiful website that I put together at virtualrealityla.com. There is some information about the meetup, as well as some awesome articles about VR in general, the past, present, and future, and I highly recommend that you check them out because I wrote them. So first off, I have to give a huge thanks to Digital Domain. Can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you. Yes. Digital Domain has been gracious enough to host our first event here, and this is an awesome space, so I cannot thank them enough. John Root is the motion capture supervisor here, and also Rich Flyer is VP of commercials. Thank you. And it had to go through a bunch of other people as well, so I thank them too. Also, I want to give a shout out to Epson, who has also graciously sponsored the catering that you all just had. So thank you. Can we please clap? Yes. Without these two groups of people, companies, this would certainly not be possible, or at least not in this fashion. So I'm very, very happy for that. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself, as well as how this meetup came to be. I have always been interested in virtual reality for ever since I learned about the Kickstarter for the Oculus Rift. So actually not forever, but for about a few years. And it was not until a few months ago that I realized how incredibly exciting it is, and so I wanted to throw myself into this new industry however I could. And I was listening to a podcast about virtual reality, and they were talking about meetups, and I looked online, and there's nothing for Los Angeles. And so I was like, okay, let me go ahead and do it. And so here you are. Here we are. Our first one is tonight. And all of you guys are here to be part of it, and that's incredibly awesome. So I started this thing. I'm also, by the way, currently a student at USC for film production, but I am particularly interested in virtual reality, not just for games and entertainment, but for its intersection with cinema and storytelling. And Jonnie is going to talk a little bit about that in a presentation soon. So that's kind of how this came to be. I have a few notes before we get started. We did on the Eventbrite, there was Servios was mentioned as coming, but unfortunately they're off to go get millions of dollars in funding, hopefully, so they couldn't make it, which is too bad, but because it's really awesome. But they will be hopefully at a future event, so that's also very exciting. And a little bit about the format of how these meetups go. So we have a few presentations right now, and after that, we will have open time for you guys to check out all this incredible stuff behind you. So I just want to start by showing you guys this video I found.
Jonnie, what are you doing in space?
This is a little girl trying out some space game.
Is it space?
What's in it?
I think planet.
Do you see stars?
Yes. Mommy?
Yeah, Cal? Are you really in space?
Yes, I am.
Is it like you imagined it would be?
Yes. Mommy, what are you doing?
I'm here on Earth. I'm not in space.
I'm on the Earth.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I think I see stars.
Can you look up?
Wow. Well, Mama, I'm in space. Is this space?
Yeah, you're in space. Is it beautiful?
Yes, it's dark. Is space cold?
Is it cold?
Yes.
You want to see another nebula?
Yes, I do.
All right, yeah. So the reason why I wanted you guys to see that, then my favorite moment was when she goes, oh. And I don't know, how many of you guys have tried the Oculus Rift here before? Can you raise your hands, please? Awesome. And wow, okay, and how many of you have not? This is your first time trying the Oculus Rift. And that's a particularly exciting night for you guys because hopefully you'll have that moment as well. So yeah, so that little girl, and you know that there's a whole new generation of kids growing up today that will not know a day when there's not virtual reality, and that's a little weird to think about, but it's also incredibly exciting.
I do.
Nope. Okay. So, blank canvas. Why is there a picture? If I can make this full screen. Nope. Cool. So, why why is there a picture of a blank canvas? Well, I think it not only represents VR as a medium, but as an industry. This whole thing is incredibly new, and it's really wide open to be explored by game developers and other people that are interested in this. No one really knows what they're doing right now, and that's what is most exciting to me, and hopefully you guys. People can do whatever they want with this medium, and it is the truest way to realize what you have in your head. Whatever you think about, you can make inside of virtual reality, anything at all. And that's the first time any kind of technology has enabled that. And you can feel like you're inside it, and that's what I think is so powerful about virtual reality. Cool. So, yes. Okay, so that is my opening speech. Now I'm going to go on to give a little presentation about Facebook's acquisition of Oculus. So in case you haven't heard, Facebook acquired Oculus for $2 billion. That's a lot of money. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about the repercussions and implications on VR as an industry and Oculus as a company. So first, I have another funny video to show you guys. So this was something that someone just put together like the night of when that happened. I imagine a lot of people felt, and maybe here in this room felt like that little crying baby, surprised and upset at this news. But I'm here to tell you that everything will be okay. And first of all, here's a screenshot, a bunch of screenshots from Reddit in a pyramid. That's just how it ended up. But let me just read you my favorite one. This is right after the news hit. I'm canceling my order. Fuck this shit. Fuck you, Facebook. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Fuck you, Lucky. Fuck you, whoever else was responsible. Carmack, if you give a shit about your reputation, leave Oculus. And this was right after the news hit. And, you know, I'm looking at these comments, and I'm incredibly shocked. Really surprised. You know, a lot of people make immature comments on the internet, but this was definitely surprising. And first of all, let's think for a moment why people have this immediate reaction. I think it has a lot to do with this image that people have in their heads of what Oculus should be as a company compared to the actual business realities and what they had to do to make VR as good as great as it could be. And Oculus was this small underdog company that people were rooting for, and all of a sudden they're bought by this big gargantuan company, and everything changed. The whole public perception of Oculus changed, at least initially. So let's think for a moment. Why did Oculus take this deal? Well, the first one's kind of obvious. So $2 billion is a lot of money, but it's, money is just paper, but it's really, what counts is what you can actually do with it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. The second is something a little less clear, but this is just some random photo I found on the internet, but it represents the metaverse. And the metaverse is something, first talked about in Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash. And basically, Imagine a universe that's completely digital, online. You can talk to people, you can buy things, you can travel just like you can in real life, but everything is in VR. And so this is something, imagine that you could actually go here and you can go into all these little intricate little parts of this picture, and that's incredibly exciting. I think that's something that, when Oculus first set out to make virtual reality, I think one of their goals was to make the metaverse, and now it's imminently possible with Facebook's money and all the resources that they have to back them, and that's incredibly exciting. So now Facebook owns the future of communication and the internet itself, and I'll explain a bit about that. Communication. Facebook had the foresight to realize that VR is not just for games and entertainment. It's a tool to interact and collaborate and communicate with other people. Maybe not today, but certainly down the road in a few years. Imagine a telepresence application that allows you to talk to someone as if they were really there in front of you. That will happen, and it kind of already is, as you'll see soon. Text messages are great, phone calls are great, FaceTimes are great, but nothing beats face-to-face communication when you can actually have body language and eye contact, and you can anticipate when the person wants to talk, et cetera, et cetera. And now with Facebook, the kings of communication, of digital communication, this is definitely part of their goal, I think. And then the internet itself. So with going back to the metaverse, the internet is not going to be a two-dimensional thing that you access on a browser anymore. It's going to become a place, a location, just like a room or a beach or anywhere that you can imagine. The internet will become a place you can go to and feel like you're really inside of it. So why is this good for the VR industry? First of all, we're going to have better and cheaper VR faster. That's the first thing that this means. That with the money Facebook puts behind it, we are going to have the specs that Oculus wants to release for the first version. And I don't know who could argue that that might be a bad thing. The next is more VR content. So again, going back to the money, now Oculus can afford to better support developers and make the content that is so critical to VR success. And the last point is competition equals innovation. So now Oculus is a stronger competitor against Sony and other companies, and the more that companies can compete against each other, the more that they will push each other to improve specs, improve features, and make each other better. And that can only be good for the VR industry. So besides the good things, what are some of the red flags that you might want to look out for in the future to know that this might not necessarily be so great? Well, the first is blocking free speech. I don't have any knowledge of this, but I imagine Oculus is building some kind of app store for their own platform, a first-party app store. And one distinct possibility is them not allowing certain kinds of controversial content, cough, cough, porn, and other things. And I strongly believe that people have the right to download and access whatever content they want. And if this ends up happening, that could be a bad sign. And next is a loss of independence. Now, obviously, Oculus is beholden to Facebook as a company, but there is a hope that they will remain independent at least for the next few years, and that's kind of what I've been keeping positive about this whole deal. Now, obviously, that could all change, and who knows where this is going to go down the road, but this is something that we'll have to wait and see. So, we have some. Where is this all leading? This is leading to the first release of the Oculus Rift, and we have some advanced video of what that might look like. Cut. Yeah, this is just a GIF I found online of someone in Black Friday, some crazy madness. The floodgates will be open, and can you imagine all these people? I want my Rift. I want my Rift. Consumer VR is here. It was happening before, but it is happening now even faster. Now that this big company has put their money and resources behind them, and that's very, very exciting for me and everyone else in this room. The thing to keep in mind is that no one can predict the future. We're all going to have to wait and see until how this actually ends up what ends up happening. And another important thing to keep in mind is that every new technology that's released, every new exciting thing, there's always going to be some hate against it. Just keep in mind, technology is neither good nor bad. It's what people do with it that matters. And lastly, keep calm and riff. Yeah, I'm sorry for riffing off this meme. I kind of hate that, but I think this is incredibly appropriate for now, considering all the immense, hateful, immediate reaction to this acquisition. But I think it's appropriate. So that's the end of my talk. Now I'm going to introduce Jonnie Ross, who is the director at Gifted Youth and Funny or Die, to talk about the future of VR. So thank you very much.
First of all, I just want to say a huge thank you to Digital Domain for hosting the event. This is thank you, yes. It's a huge undertaking, as you can see by the number of people in this room, and a little bit scary to all of us involved. So thanks for your patience outside and with all the lines and everything, blah, blah, blah. I really wish that they had provided to me the skin-tight suit with balls all over it that I'd asked for. But you know what? We're happy just to have the space. Let's give a quick round of applause for Digital Domain, John Root, and specifically Rich Flyer as well for taking this on. Thank you. So tonight, I'm going to talk about defining the future. I want to take a poll. Who here in this room considers themselves an artist? And raise your hands as you hear this. An artist, an entertainer, a storyteller, an engineer, or a creator of some kind, or an aspiring creator. Raise your hand. Okay, look around. That's the entire room. That's all of us. So that's definitely what we have in common. So we all have these unique sensory experiences, right? These dreams in our brain. And as artists and creators, we've kind of been trying since forever to take what's in our head and somehow give an audience that same experience. To recreate it for them, to impart that dream as best we can. At first, there was this. Then along came this, which eventually led to this, which gave birth to this. We all know this. Meanwhile, this happened, which reshaped this, which became this, and now we have this. So how do we react? It is a little frightening. How do we use this tool? Specifically, how do we adapt to it? Wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We barely know how to tie Guys, we barely know how to tie our laces in this new medium. I know a lot of you here probably haven't even tried VR yet, and you're going to get to try it for the first time tonight. Well, one thing is clear, we've got some work to do. The engineering challenges are enormous. We've got nausea, incongruity, other senses, misconceptions. Your hair, you look stupid wearing it. It messes up your hair. What's ethical? What's the age limit? And yet, VR only became functional, a viable idea for the masses, not that long ago. Was it like less than 2 years, a year and a half ago? 19 months. This is freaking crazy. And yet it's been a thing. I mean, we should acknowledge it's, there have been a world of people who've been working on this for 30 years at least? So we should acknowledge those people because, yes, Palmer Luckey and John Carmack at Oculus were the geniuses that put it together at the right time, but there's a lot of people who've been working really hard on this since forever. And now it's finally happening. It wasn't that long ago. So what's different? There's a ton of reasons why this is different from all those mediums before it. And VR by its nature is obviously going to be controversial. For some people, they're not going to be up for it. But it seems obvious, especially as evidenced by the people in this room and the interest, that it's not going to fail this time. It's a real thing. And arguably, the biggest thing that's different about it is that it plays on your brain like a dream. If you've ever heard someone describe a Rift experience they had, maybe you know what I'm talking about. It sounds like they're describing a dream. They say something like, okay, so there was this roller coaster, and I was on the coaster, but I didn't have a body, and then I was up in the clouds, and there was nothing holding the roller coaster up, but then when I turned around, I realized it was a medieval coaster. But in my dream, it totally made sense. They sound like dreams because they are dreams. Our experiences in VR are stored in our mind like memories. Now take a look around you. 360 degrees, wherever you want. You are right now surrounded by an astounding collection of creative minds, with more hopefully to join us at future events. We're all from opposite ends of a similar thread. VR was always kind of heading this way, and just like that. And the entertainment industry's been moving kind of this way. And tonight, I would argue, is a historic night because this is the night when the VR development community, the enthusiasts and entrepreneurs, and the entertainment industry collide for the first time officially. Just like that. It's very romantic. So, what do we have in common? We all want to make pornography, all right? And we want to make beautiful experiences together. Why? For the same reason that we all drove out to be in this beautiful virtual space together. We see the potential of VR to change gaming, entertainment, education, design, communication, the internet itself. Why look at, as Cosmo wisely pointed out, a 2D web page when you can be inside of that web page? Think of it. Virtual Walmart. Don't we all want that? And these devices have the potential to impart your dreams to an audience. And with that, of course, comes some amount of responsibility. We can do good things with this technology. Dumpy, anyone tried it? Huh? It's an amazing VR game, a lot of fun. And we can also do some really bad things. Matthew, please, keep it calm. Like all new tech, it's a double-edged sword. And it's up to what we choose to create. And by creating virtual worlds, we have, I would argue, an insane new capacity to reshape our own through reflection and to realize the truth of our interconnected humanity. And at the core of this capacity is something unexpected, especially from a box you strap on your face. It's empathy. When you don't have to imagine, you can actually see something through someone else's eyes. This is the true potential of VR. When we can stand in one another's shoes, we can know how to remake the world for the better. And as for movies, there's so much to figure out. We have to reinvent the cinematic language. Personally, that's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm hoping to help to do. And we're just at the beginning. Yet we already seem to know in our collective consciousness that it's possible now. When you can stand across from Cary Grant or Sidney Poitier or Audrey Hepburn and witness a dramatic scene. Audrey, you're always late. What's going on? As if you're there, watching it happen in first person for the first time as it happens, that's profound. And you can replay that moment if you want. See it from another angle. It's almost a miracle. It's not like we haven't had this technology before. I'm sure you've seen DVD, the angle button that no one used, you know. But when your brain believes that you're there, it's a whole different story. When you can be in the car in the movie Bullet, or you're flying through space with Sandra and George, or whizzing down a bobsled track with the Jamaican bobsled team, okay? That is when shit gets real. As filmmakers, creators, storytellers, game makers, and everything in between, the potential is this. These are filmmakers, storytellers. We finally get to share what's in our head straight into someone else's, to impart our imagination as a reality for someone else. It's a gift. And VR is the ultimate medium, I would argue, for sharing. Like this. That's the trend we've been on that's been accelerated by the arrival of this instrument. In our pre-internet world, it was difficult to share. In our current world, we can share pretty much anything we want, save for a few things. And in our future world, we can share our visionary consciousness with anyone who's open to receiving it, to soothe our common soul, which craves escape. Not to mention communal experiences, which eventually may happen on a scale we've never experienced before as humans. And don't forget, potentially, and in some ways right now, you can create anything in VR. You want to be invisible? You can. You want to be able to fly? You can. You want to know what it's like to be someone else? You can't. But you will be able to really soon, maybe. So take a look around at your friends and the friends you will make in this room and ask yourself this question. What do you want to make with these people beside you right now? Babies. All right, thank you.